morning. Good morning. It is Thursday morning, October the 23rd. I'm WESH 2 First Warning Meteorologist Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather. I've always told you I'm going to be honest with you. I've always told you that I have the best weather information I can, but I will share with you that this morning I got some terrible news. So forgive me for being a couple of minutes late to Coffee Talk. But I needed to take a couple of minutes for me. So I hope that that's okay and that this delay isn't too much of a bother. So I appreciate your patience. But that said, we of course have the weather to track in on, and there is Tropical Storm Melissa still looking rough this morning. Genuinely not looking like a very organized system at all. This is a look at the satellite imagery. We will take a look at some of the wind data around, and there's one buoy kind of right nearby, and it's gusting to about 18. So there's not there's not at least a big wind field with this thing, though we do anticipate Melissa to become a big bad hurricane. It's going to take it a little while to get there, but it will get there. Tropical storm intensity expected through Friday, Saturday, and then afterward, we think that it will become a strong hurricane. Look at the timestamps here, and because it's been such a messy forecast, okay, Sunday 2 a.m. Category 2 hurricane. By Tuesday 2 a.m. Category 4 hurricane. Now that's Jamaica. We're talking about the Caymans over here. There's Cuba up here. So we're talking about a storm system being very, very nearby Caribbean islands and going into a very, very strong intensity, right? This is not going to be a joke of a storm. Now, the cone is awkward looking because you have to understand the Hurricane Center does not adjust the size of their forecast. All they do when they put out a forecast is they put in a spot, and based on historic kind of error principles, the cone develops. But it's really a circle around it. So the closer these spots are, it just becomes more of a bulbous blob of sorts, which is why you don't have a definitive cone. It's not moving very fast. Once we start to get some forward progression with this, we'll be able to do that. But until that happens, this is kind of what we're going to get. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is the slower this is, the more we have to wait and see how it moves. The best way to put this is already looking at mid next week, still very much in the Caribbean. And until it moves out of the Caribbean and starts its motion, we won't know what weather patterns will be around to pick it up, right? Because it's kind of stalled at the moment, and until it gets picked up, we're not going to be able to track this thing around. Okay? So that's where we're going to look at the models together. We're going to look at the ensembles together, and we're going to go from there. Before we do that, let's just take a couple of seconds and let's look at the graphical spaghetti plots, the tropical models, okay? The tropical models continue to look good, okay? At least for the United States. Now, it doesn't look good because somebody's going to get hit, right? The Dominican Republic, Haiti, Cuba, that sort of thing. But they continue to show protection for the United States, which for you and I, obviously, is a very, very good thing. Kristen on Twitter says there's no model indicating going to the U.S. Why are we fear-mongering people? Are you listening to me, Christian? I feel like that's the anti what I'm doing, but okay, you do you. So the computer models continue to show protection in the United States, as Christian had said, and I don't believe that I'm fear mongering it. I kind of think I'm backing that up, and I'm showing kind of some grateful nature to that. Now, one thing that's beautiful is that the hurricane hunters continue to be in and investigating the storm system. So let's just see. So they found on that most recent core punch, they found a 41 mile per hour gust. I mean, that's not even what the storm should be generating according to data. So it's very unorganized. A reminder here that the official intensity is at 50 miles an hour. Hurricane Hunter's just found 40. So that's that. Now, it's 12Z. I don't know. Let me give me a second here. I want to pull up the consensus trends. Let's go to 06Z. Give me a few seconds to put this together. Jeannie Rowan, there are very large strawberries all over your shirt. Splain. I don't know. Kind of just felt like after the news I got this morning, I wanted something happy. All right. All right. Give it a second. I need to move this most recent run box there. Put that there. Put that there. Okay. All right. Give me a second. All right. See in camera. We'll set you. This is making the sausage. Do that. Do that. Do that. Okay. And then tropical track needs to be Melissa. Okay. So this is the consensus of the last few model runs. So, in other words, what you're looking at, these are not tropical models by themselves. Jan says, how can you accuse a guy of fear mongering that's wearing a strawberry shirt? Thank you. So, these are not individual computer models. What these are the consensus of model runs. So, the boldest, this one here, is going to be the most recent run. Prior to that, it was this one here. Prior to that, this one here. Prior to that, this one here. Prior to that, this one here. Prior to that. So anyway, they're zigging, zagging, but essentially the idea is we're going to keep it very close to Jamaica, and then eventually, kind of the consensus is going across Jamaica as a very strong storm system, and then afterward a hard recurve out to sea. So the consensus of the last 6 model runs is still very tight. Now, yes, it has shifted to the west a little bit. Okay. There will be some online that are going to say models shifted, they're going to go crazy on that sort of thing. But they're still very closely aligned. There has been a shift. I'm not going to sit here and hype there's been this big shit, right? That's not appropriate. Okay. So computer models are doing the computer models thing. Let's look at the ensembles. All right. These are the ensemble models, the European and the GFS. I'm going to work on being able to get more, but basically they're all just sitting, and then they kind of all get picked up. Okay. Important to now, this is just the GFS and the Euro. I don't, in my weather computer, I don't have access to all the other ensemble plots in the weather computer. Now I can display them for you elsewhere, and I'm going to do that. But let's see, super ensemble. I'm trying to find track density. I want ensembles. Hold on. I'm going to find models. Model trends. Yeah. So Tomerberg, his website is fantastic. Grand Ensemble. I'm trying to find the Grand Ensemble. I tweeted it yesterday. Grand Ensemble. I'm going to find this. Stand by. Grand Ensemble. That's what I'm looking for. Perfect. This is exactly what I'm looking for. All right. Give me a second. I'll show it. So those are the GFS and the Euro Ensemble members there. What I want to do now, give me a second. Post that there. Post that there. Okay. Is look at the Grand Ensemble. Now, this Tomerberg researcher is doing some unbelievable work. I don't have this all prettied, but basically, this is looking at every ensemble member you could think of, every single one. If you look on the left, the EPSG, this is the Canadian, this is the German, this is the European, this is the Google DeepMind, this is every single one. Okay, this is the 00Z, so it's 12Z, so we should be getting some new ensemble data shortly. But out of everything, and again, I'm showing you here. This is the European and the GFS. It's all I have access to. But this is a crazy graphic that he came up with that's looking at more than just the Euro and the GFS. This is looking at every ensemble product available. It's like 300 or something. Out of 300 ensemble members, okay, out of 300 ensemble members, two hit Florida. Ensemble is spelled wrong on the Melissa graphic, Colleen says. Here's the thing. The only person on the planet that spells poorer than me is Manolfi. You're right, he did it on. That's so funny. All right, let me fix the spelling on that. On. No. Hold on. I got to. On. Ensemble. Oh, Manolfi. Melissa Ensembles. So funny. All right, is that better? Melissa Ensembles? Yeah. All right. The only person that spells poorer than me on this planet is Manolfi. And I say that with peace and love. But anyway, this is good. This is a really great tool because when it comes to tropical forecasting, you're literally looking at 300 models right there. So there's going to be folks that are going to hype and say like, "Oh, did you see this? Did you see that?" No. No. Okay. So anyway, this is looking good for us. It's not looking good for Cuba and for parts of the Bahamas. Now, these are all folks that are um, clearly battle hardened with hurricanes and with tropical systems. But yeah. So anyway, that's kind of the quick and dirty way of looking at ensembles. I love this. Tomer Berg, I want to shake your hand and buy you a Starbucks, sir. And then, of course, Oliver, and I know you're just teasing, but Oliver says, but you're saying there's a chance. Yeah, out of 50. Somebody, let's get so I've got the numbers there. Let's pull up the calculator here. All right. 51 EPS plus 31 plus 21 plus 36 plus 40 plus 50 plus 50 plus 50 plus 31 equals 360. So there are 360 ensemble members here. 360 ensemble members. And out of 360, there are two that show Southwest Florida impacts. So one would deduct that, the probabilities are pretty good. We're not looking at this being a threat to us directly, at least, right? Demon Matt says, and our teachers in school told us that we would never just have a calculator readily available. I know. Well, it's like the meteorology school that I was looking at back in college was trying to teach us Fortran. And back then I'm like, that's a dead language 20 something years ago. You know? Now, let's look at the intensity plots for, Mike says, 0.0055555556% chance of hitting Florida. I like that. In terms of the intensity plots, here's what's really interesting, right? We've got a very significant opportunity for intensification. Some models are showing that rapid intensification Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, up to category 4, category 5 strength. The vast majority are keeping it, as a category 3, but you can see there's a very clear uptick in here. So Oliver busts out the abacus and checks the math. Right. Mike's asking, so when will it hit us? I mean, I love that we're all teasing about this, but in the end of the day, in the world of social media, these are important points to make. I never would have thought Jimmy F from FXE. Good morning, buddy. I flew to FXE just a couple months ago. I did take Fortran, but I'm almost 20 years senior too. And Tim, I would imagine it was probably on its way out when you took it. I digress. Um, in the world of social media, though, I do think it's important to show all the data, but I also feel it important to help you understand that if you're reading about certain things, we need to remember who's right, like what's driving these posts, right? Like, I'm a meteorologist at WESH. Let's be very forthcoming here. What's my goal here? My goal here is to learn from you, take the questions that you all have to help me become a better storyteller. What questions do you have so that I can better my forecasting? That's what I'm taking from you. I am not sponsored by Beef O'Brady's or what have like I'm not. Um, right? So that's what I'm taking from you. What are you taking from me? Hopefully some calm weather information. But if people are hyping and all this stuff, they're probably here for clicks. Just so that you know, like my paycheck is the same whether I've got 0 people watching this or 20 million people watching this, because this is not a revenue stream for me. Okay? So I want you to understand that. I'm not here for clicks. Genuinely, I'm using you to learn what to talk about on TV. That's what I'm getting out of it. Joseph says, my heart can't handle hurricane season anymore. Dude, I get it. And thankfully, this year's been a quiet one. Now, this storm is going to become a big, big hurricane, we think. We do think that this is going to become a very strong storm, right? That's what the National Hurricane Center is coming up with. I want to clean this up to the right annotation. Can I add the 4? Yeah, I can add the 48 back in there. Okay. So yeah, that's what the Hurricane Center's let's see, 96 on the left side. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Just yesterday when it was all fakakta, it was very difficult to make this look good, but I think we're doing it now. So anyway, Florida investor on YouTube says Florida's safe. Hopefully, I like what I'm seeing, but it's not 100%, right? Like, it's not over till the fat lady sings. So I'm here. I'm gonna track it, and I'm hoping that you guys will track it with us. But yeah, Diane, questions from us. Guessing you mean weather-based questions. We do tend to derail the train here often. Sure, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to take um, the other elements to work and be like, I need to modify my weather forecast because blah 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 said this or that. Yeah, but yeah, point absolutely taken. What we're taking from you is strawberry fields forever. Yeah, yeah. Although, should I ever need a job, you're going to see this thing sponsored by Duncan quicker than you can even imagine. Or Starbucks or somebody. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like that will happen. Just to be honest. Too far to tell direction could always change destiny. You're absolutely right. Yeah. So let's do this then. Let's start looking at some of that. So I showed you the grand ensemble, which I love. I love that. Tomer, you are a beast mode over there, man. So remember, when we look at deterministic models, um, we have to understand that we looked at him yesterday. The deterministic model was complete garbage compared to the ensemble. So we have to understand that. All right. So anyway, deterministic. Interesting that the GFS deterministic still brings it right over the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and then recurves it. I mean, I feel like none of the ensemble. And then toward the end, look at that. It's trying to fire something else up in the Caribbean around the 8th of November. I feel like we saw that on the BSR, but yeah, my love agency, my love insurance agency would sponsor you if that ever happened. Brandon, thank you, buddy. Love insurance agency? Is that a thing? I'm terrified to engage that. But listen, if Wesh ever cans me, I'm gonna need something. I gotta feed these kids. All right, Euro deterministic. So at least the Euro deterministic is more closely resembling what actually will happen atmospherically. Getting awful close to Jamaica. Oh man, let's switch over to wind. The very end. Yeah, yeah. I mean that's a category 1/category 2 hurricane there. My local insurance agency would sponsor you if that ever happened. Thank you, Brandon. I'm like, love insurance agency? Feel like I feel like that's not a thing. So, all right. So the euro is at least the euro deterministic is looking better. Ensembles are where it's at. So let's just look at the ensembles together. Okay. This is the euro. Let's go back to. I always like to start with the GFS. All right, GFS ensemble. See how they're spreading? Like even the GFS ensembles are trying to figure it out. Adam H 3563 said you told us to remember those dates. All right, so the BSR did have something tropical early November. Got it. Or something of a storm system in early November. Got it. So you've kind of got these two camps on the GFS ensemble. Either way, they're very clearly wanting to avoid us, which that's what I like to see. Yeah, perfect. And then leaving some moisture, and then look at that, November 5th, 6th. Some of the ensemble members are still like popping up right around, right? Yep. All right. So we'll have to watch early November for something. Not a home run, but something. All right. Over to the Euro. See, the Euro is way more in unison with this meandering off to the west and then gets lifted up. And that's as far as the 6Z run goes. Zachary Kirkland on Twitter. Cruise leaving on the 30th out to the Bahamas. I'm assuming rough seas is what we'll have to look forward to. Around the 30th, yeah. Remember that the Bahamas protect wave action. We'll look at some wave modeling here in a little bit, but remember that the Bahamas do protect. So that's good, right? All right, so there's that. Love that. We go back from the 6Z to the 0Z, and the 0Z was more spread out and pulls it out. Yeah, so if you look at the 6Z Euro versus the 0Z, it was more spread out. It seemingly has dialed it in a little bit. So that's good. That's a good trend. So anyway, again, looking at all the modeling, I think Tomer's got the right. This Grand Ons, I just love one screen showing all the ensembles is so great. Lori, why would anybody want to travel to the Bahamas, the Turks, Jamaica, or any of those places knowing this is coming? I heard that those places are evacuating and they're telling tourists to leave. They're saying the tourist people need to leave because they're busy taking care of their own people. So, I mean, I can't speak to that. But remember, tourism is what drives the economy in so many of these places. So they book trips. Outside of that, of course, when a storm is coming, those trips need to be adjusted. But tourism is what drives these economies in so many of these locations, right? Scott, my kids are going to North DR on Saturday. Thoughts? I mean, the center of grand ensemble, the grand ensemble, every ensemble member on here shows that it looks more like it's going to be an East Cuba type thing, Jamaica, East Cuba for at least direct impacts. It's not done, but that's what we're looking at here. All right. Does anyone gather data on ensemble credibility? Chris is asking. Remember, ensembles are not supposed to be anything other than used as a consortium. Like, this is exactly what ensembles are supposed to be used for. All of them together now, right? Like, that's what they do. Because if you use it as individuals, then they lose their credence. But I love putting 360 ensemble members on the screen at once. Like, that's fantastic, right? And what he's even done is he's even taken it and color coded it to take you even closer. So, for Jamaica, you're looking at like a 60% chance of that center being within 150 kilometers, right? Like, he's put together almost like a heat map. I love this. This is so clean. This is so clear. It's great. Robert says, great job as usual, Eric. Always detailed, informative, and calm reporting. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. But why do I hype this? Or what did he say? It wasn't hype. It was another term he used. I don't remember. Oh, well. Ever wonder why cruise prices are so incredibly cheap during Caribbean height of hurricane season fall? Hey, but you know what? If you time it out right, you've got yourself a great trip. I always suggest trip insurance if you're going during, hurricane season. You know what I mean? Tammy says, all of us cruising. I leave for Miami November 1st. Hey, we haven't had one of these. We haven't had one of these in a while. Oh, fear mongering. That's right. That's right. I'm fear mongering. Right. Mike, Diane, thank you. Thank you all for clarifying that. Fear mongering. That's right. How could I forget? All right. Cruise time. Heck yeah. Look at the ones Tony did this year. Yeah, Tony had no problem. Now, there have been years where Tony has canceled like every single vacation he took last second because of the tropics. You know what I mean? It is what it is. My trip in jeopardy leaving November 1st for Jamaica, Erica says. I don't know. I mean, this will be gone from Jamaica by then. The question is going to be, how rough shape is Jamaica going to be in? Just being honest. All right. So let's do this. Let's look at the BSR and kind of get an idea of what's to come. The BSR, for those that are unfamiliar, this is a somewhat non-standard way to forecast. It just looks at what's called a teleconnection. And I have to do some loose math. All right, so this right off the bat, that's October 28th, 29th, 30th. That's a storm system in the Gulf, and then a big old cold front. That's interesting. I mean, that's an interesting signal there for a storm system in the Gulf. 28th, 29th, 30th. Yeah. And then there's a big cold front. Love that. There's another one there. That looks like a really nice cold front. That's Halloween. So that's the Halloween front that we had been talking about. Chris says the sky is falling. When it rains, maybe. So there's the Halloween cold front. Got to be honest, like this one could bring a cool Halloween, y'all. Like, look at that thing. Oh man, I love that. Then we've got a little storm system. We got a little storm system here, Southwest Florida. Second, third, 4th of November. Yeah. And then an even bigger signal of something. 4th, 5th, 6th of November. Oh, that's that resite. Okay. All right. And then we could look at the GFS. Give me a second. All right. take you and we'll roll with you. High pressure, cold front. Ooh, severe weather type pattern there. The 15th, 16th, 17th of November. Ooh, oh, that's a severe weather signal. Big old cold front, severe weather signal. That's November 19, 20, 21st. That's quite a severe weather signal there. Big old cold front. Yep. And then is that something tropical trying to get going there? What is that? November 23rd, 24th, 25th. Hope somebody's writing these dates down because I'm not. But at any rate, that's kind of where we're at. Sound good? You guys have any questions about all this so far? What do you mean, storm system? Where would it be coming from? The Gulf? The TV says we were clear in the middle of November. Well, Lori, who's the TV? I mean, I'm a meteorologist on TV. Who's the TV? Mickey says, El Nino, is that you? I know, right? Like, that's the thing that's so interesting is we're not really, it looks like an El Nino pattern, right? I mean, this is the pattern looks El Nino. You know? The TV says. Who? Well, Lori says Fox. Hi. I work there. I can't be a representative of the other guys. All I could do is what I could do. Yeah. So anyway, that's what we're looking at. Look at this forecast in the meantime, okay? Mickey Smith over on YouTube says, we've been hit before by tropical systems in November. Nicole, not too long ago. Right, I mean, it's a possibility. These are things we're going to have to watch. All right. So, we're tracking Melissa. What about the rest of us, right? Couple showers on Sunday. Looks like some thunderstorms on Monday ahead of our next front. But look at those temperatures, y'all. Like high of 80, 81. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? 70s for highs, 50s for lows would be better. I can never make you happy. I'm never going to make you happy, am I? Will Daytona be in the 50s for Halloween night? It's what's showing on the Wesh 2 app. All right, so Yukon morning, Monday through Friday, meteorologist progress yet? We've heard nothing. I have no idea what's going on. Listen, I spoke to my boss, my news director, minutes before I came on the phone this morning to Coffee Talk, and I know this woman does not mess around, so I have no worries that she's doing her thing. All right, let's pop this up. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch back over to individual models, and let's look at Halloween. All right, so what we're looking at is the GFS. Here's Friday, 8 p.m. GFS temperatures for Halloween. And again, this is just one run of one model, but at least we've got this here. Tanya says, Eric, the meteorologist, Coffee Talk, and the greatest. Oh, geez, you're such a goof. Tanya, thank you, my dear. All right, so this is Halloween for now, and you know, these are going to change, of course. But look at that. According to the GF, and I know the top right says 00Z Saturday, November 1st, but understand Zulu time is 4 hours adjusted. So this is 8 p.m. Friday, October the 31st. GFS says trick-or-treating in the 50s and 60s. That would be wild. Now that's the 6Z. Let's look at the 0Z. Let's go back a run. Oh, trick-or-treating in the 50s. Let's go back 2 runs. 50s. Go back 3 runs. 50s. Okay, so GFS is going cool. Let's look at the European. Europeans awful with temperatures typically. Understand that. As long as you know that. I mean, 00Z shows 50s and 60s. Let's go to the 12Z. 50s. I mean, I think that's cool. But at any rate, the idea here is that models are doing their thing. They're starting to show some cool air. I don't hate that. Love that. I think I have a condition where I like it cooler. It has nothing to do with anyone else. I get that. I have a condition where I want what I don't got. So when it's summer, I'm ready for the cool. And then when it's winter, I want the summer. I feel like most people are like that, though. Blue Ghost says, that's rather cool. Let's see. Don't hold your breath. Let's just see how the models come in. All right. Questions, comments, concerns? How we doing? All right. So we're tracking Melissa. We're tracking um, a few showers for this weekend, but we've got some outstanding weather ahead. Outstanding weather ahead. Yeah. Mickey Smith says, let's hype and fearmonger these cold temps. LOL. Yep. All right. What meteorologist in Sevierville, Tennessee do you recommend? I have no idea what TV market that is. I don't. You have to tell me the TV stations because I don't even know what market that is. Oh, good. Vivian is telling us about cure from warts. Love that. All right. All right, my friends, that's all we've got. Coastal 7 day forecast. Notice the rain chances Sunday, Monday for our coastal communities are going to be higher. So keep that in mind. Tim says, I like it when we hype the no hype thing. Yeah, I get it. Yukon, I have taken December 12th off to go meet you. Thank you very much, Yukon. Is that the day for it? I don't even know. I'm sure it is. I just haven't even looked. All right, people, listen. So real quick, the bad news that I got this morning was that somebody very, very young that I know and have worked with for a very long time has passed away. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to tell everybody we need to. I wore the strawberry shirts because I needed something happy. I had a really crappy phone call. I'm not going to say anything more than that other than just please live our lives trying to find and be the sunshine because you just never know. Okay. So yeah. All right. Be the sunshine in someone else's day today, especially, please.